Hey gang, we're here to talk about your goals and the goal setting exercise in preparation for our upcoming 90-day blitz. So 1 week from today, we are already going to be up and running in the program. It starts Sunday, September 1st. So today we're going to make sure that we are starting to whittle down our thoughts and kind of work through all of the options that we have of all of the areas of our life that we want to work on, and really start to narrow it down and fine tune exactly what do we want from these 90 days. Now we've got 10, we have a tribe, our warrior tribe, that are going to be participating with me. They're going to be my running buddies, my power partners, and they're going to be in full-blown Technicolor in your face right there on the Facebook page. And then we've got a shadow tribe, which is anyone and everyone else that wants to participate with us. So I want to speak just for 1 second to our shadow tribe. If you really want the best from this program, if I were you, I would hold myself accountable just as if I were one of the warrior tribe. I would post the stuff, I would interact, I would ask questions, I would participate as if I'm one of the warrior tribe, because when you hold yourself to a higher level of accountability, you're going to perform at a higher vibration. You know, there's an old saying, when you get committed, providence will move. So the more that you're putting into this program, obviously, the more that you're getting out of it. So I wouldn't let it be a downer or a disappointment or an excuse, a reason not to give it 110% if you really want to kick some serious goals in these last 120 days leading up to a brand new decade. Okay, that's up to you, but that's just my encouragement, and that would be my advice. Now, whether you are part of the warrior tribe or you're part of the shadow tribe, the goals, the exercises, the process, and how we're going to be walking through this together are the same. Now remember, the whole reason that I created this 90-day blitz, remember, was very selfishly minded because I wanted some running buddies. I am ready to wage war on the mediocrity in my own life to a whole new level. And I've just learned from past experience that it is always more powerful and more fun to have people running right there alongside with you, because you can benefit from the group synergy and the feedback, etc., etc., etc. Okay, so with that introduction, let's hop right in as we are going to be working to set our goals for the 90-day blitz. Now, the more specific we are with our goal setting, the higher the odds are that we're going to actually achieve those goals. Now, if you notice, you might find it interesting that we're not waiting until the program begins to start start setting our goals, because if we do that, then we're just delaying, you know, how long it takes until we're actually up and running. I would much prefer to take a running jump start into the program, which means I'm going to back out of it a little bit and spend a few days, exactly like we're doing right now, getting ready for the program. Okay, now if you're part of the shadow tribe and you want to wait until September 1st, or maybe you're going to share it with a friend and they're going to be joining us on September 1st, that's perfectly okay. But obviously the ideal situation is to be setting your goals now so that you are ready to crank come September 1st. Okay, so as a part of this goal setting for the 90-day blitz, there are 4 things that we're going to look at. There are 4 things that we are going to examine together, okay? The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to take a fresh look at our long-term life vision. If this is something that you have not done before, it is one of my most favorite activities. I do it in a very deep, thorough way twice a year, and then I'm looking at it over and over and over again, almost on a daily basis. Okay, so I have a tool that can help you through this process, okay? This is called a long-term vision chart, and if you see at the top of it, okay, it says Digging Deeper for Success coaching program. So for those of you that have been with me for years and years through the coaching programs that I did in the past, this is going to be like your old faithful friend, okay? I have used this chart for, gosh, at least 15 years, okay? So I want to show you, now when it says session 1 assignment, you can just ignore that part because we always start at the same place. Why? Because we've got to start with the end in mind. It's like you're putting together a roadmap, you know, to if you want to get from point A to point B, well, you've got to, first of all, identify where you want to go. That's point B, and you've also got to identify where you're starting from. That way you have the most efficient route in moving from point A to point B, because I don't know about you, but I've taken enough detours in my life that right now in this specific scenario, I'm not really interested in taking the detour or the scenic route in achieving my goals. Now, do I want to take the scenic route in life? Absolutely. Do I want to stop and smell the roses? Absolutely. I want to enjoy life while I'm living it, while I'm pursuing my goals? Absolutely. But I don't want to waste time with mistakes and with a lack of vision and with a lack of clarity. Okay? So we have our long-term life vision. Let me hold it up to where you can see it, okay? So I'm going to publish this and make this available for all of you. I'm gonna hold it and see if I can get rid of the glare. Okay, now, if you look down the left-hand side, you can see that there are 8 lanes of life. We've broken down life into 8 lanes. If you know the old song, the Eagles song, Life is a Highway, well, that's exactly what this is. We've got 8 lanes of life. And one of the things that I coach on a lot is that if we're not careful, then our 8 lanes are not actually working together. They can work against each other, or you can have conflicting goals or conflicting priorities or conflicting tasks perhaps, or you know, things that are pulling at you. So what we've got to do is we've got to create flow between each of our 8 lanes. Otherwise, we're going to end up with a traffic jam. And of course, with a traffic jam, we're going nowhere, okay? So we got to make sure that all of our 8 lanes are flowing toward our desired objective. Now, if you look across the top here, we've got different increments of time. And if you, at first glance, it may look weird. It may look like it's a mistake, but it's not, okay? It says 20-year, 1 year, 10-year, and 5-year. Now, I'm gonna give you a 30-second explanation of why it's like this and what I recommend that you do, okay? 20 years. This is, y'all, a lifetime. 20 years, no joke, is a lifetime, okay? In fact, that's considered to be a generation. Every 20 years, there's a new generation. So there is nothing that we cannot accomplish in 20 years if we have got the right clarity and the right gumption. There's nothing, no amount of money, no amount of time, no amount of skills or lack thereof to be standing in our way. We can do anything we want in a 20-year span, okay? So this is where you're doing your hardcore dreaming. Like, if I knew I couldn't fail, if I had all the money in the world, if I had all the time in the world, if I had all the skills in the world, what would I really, really dream of doing? Okay, and you're gonna go through each one of these 8 lanes. So lane number 1 is your spiritual life. Lane 2 is your family life. Lane 3 is your career or your professional goals. Now, a lot of people, because, you know, if you're a very spiritually rooted person, your spiritual life, it actually may be the core, it may be the center, and everything else rotates around that. But just for simplicity's sake, we've made them 8 different lanes, okay? Lane 4 is your personal growth. Lane 5 is physical health. Lane 6 is financial health. Lane 7 is social life. Now, it only used to say social life. That's all I used to have on this. Recently, I have added it to say social life / adventures, okay? Because for some people, including me, I'm not really such a social person. You know, I don't care about attending every party in town or being the first one to the party or the last one to leave the party. I don't need big groups of friends. That's not really my thing, okay? But I do like to take adventures, and a lot of people that I know that aren't so much about, you know, like the party social scene, they do find that they have a lot of good quality bonding time with close people to them when they're taking their adventures in life. So maybe it's traveling with friends or family or a loved one, or maybe you have certain, you know, just fun goals for your bucket list. So if you want to, you can use this, this 7th lane. You can use it as your social life. You can use it as your life adventures. You can use them interchangeably. You can combine them, but you have a little bit of wiggle room there, okay? But I have found that the older I have become, the less I care about my social life and the more I care about those fun, rewarding, enriching experiences. Okay, and then last, the 8th lane, last but not least, is community or philanthropy, whatever you want to call that. If it's connecting to your community, if it's giving back to the community, if it's some sort of nonprofit or philanthropic goals that you have for yourself, those would go down there in lane number 8. Okay, now these are in no specific priority order, but these are just the 8 lanes. Now, again, let's look at the time frames across the top. So you're going to start with year 20. So 20 years from now, why? Because it's easy to dream. It's easy to dream about a time so far away because you have no limitations, no fears, no lack, no negative emotions, no scarcity that should be really. Now, if you've got head game stuff happening, we're gonna conquer that later, okay? But in reality, now remember, reality is what you make it, okay? But there should be no limitations on what one can accomplish in 20 years. That's why you start there. Okay, now immediately once you go through and you think through all these categories, what do you dream of doing in the next 20 years or 20 years from now? Then you're gonna hop over to the next category and you're gonna see the very next category is 1. So these do not go in order, it's not chronological order. So first you're gonna talk about 20 years from now, then you're immediately gonna go to 1 year from now. Okay, why are we gonna jump from 20 to 1? There's a reason for it. So what you're gonna do here is you're gonna say, okay, if I put forth consistent effort for the next 12 months, how far could I be toward my 20-year vision? So if I just wanna get myself off to a good start in the next 12 months in creating this 20-year vision, how far do I think I could get? Okay, and that's gonna be your 1-year vision. Make sense? Okay, now 10-year, this one becomes a little bit easier. You're just gonna do the basic math and you're gonna look at what's smack in the middle of 1 and 20, and that's gonna be your 10-year. It's just gonna be your benchmark, your midway point to look at where do I need to be in 10 years from now to be halfway to my 20-year vision. And then you're gonna break that down again for your 5-year vision. You're gonna say, okay, do the math again. Where do I need to be? And so this is your quarter point checkpoint. Make sense? 20, 1, 10, 5 based on your 8 lanes, and you're going to fill out each section of the grid. Now I'll show you mine. Okay, now like I told you, I redo mine a couple of times a year, but this is mine here, like totally filled out, okay? Now I'll show you another one. Let's see here. This is one that I filled out, when would this be? 2 years ago, okay? 2 years ago. And I went through here and you can see that I've already started checking off and marking off on this one from 2 years ago, pieces of it that have already been accomplished. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. I've got about a quarter of this already accomplished from my vision board 2 years ago. But I want to show you something. Let me see if I can show you this. Do you see how dirty it is? Like how filthy it's got, like food and drink and stuff all over it? Because I take it with me everywhere, and I'm always pulling it out. And this one, I had pulled it out at a meeting and we were discussing things, and I was sharing with some people what my goals were, and then some food got spilled on it. But the reason I'm sharing that with you is because this is not something that you just create once and then you never look at it again, okay? This is something that you would want to be doing over and over and over again and looking at it all the time, okay? So that's the first thing that you're gonna do for your goal setting for the 90-day blitz is you're gonna fill out your long-term life vision. Now, our warrior tribe are going to be sharing theirs to some degree, but it is okay with me if there are sections of it that are very private for you that you don't necessarily want to share with the world. And it's okay with me if you're going to cover certain sections or whatever the case may be whenever it comes time to share, which we'll talk about later. Okay, so that's the first thing you're going to do is you're going to create your long-term life vision. The second thing that you're going to do, and by the way, that's going to be the most time-consuming part. Okay, the second thing that you're going to do is you're going to make a list of all the things that you think are holding you back from creating the life you dream about. Okay, I'll say that again. You're going to make a list of all the things that you think are holding you back from creating the life you dream about. And I will copy and paste these questions into the Facebook feed as well. Okay, number 3, the third part of the assignment, you're going to ask yourself, what do you think that you want from yourself within these next 90 days, specifically in regard to the Blitz, in regard to this program? Now notice there are 2 key words here, okay? And you notice in the prior question and this question both I said, what do you think you want, or what do you think is holding you back? Because you may very well discover in these next few months that what you thought you wanted isn't the same. It might change, it might shift a bit, or what you thought was holding you back isn't really the limitation at all. So we're gonna visit some of that together over these next few months. But that's question number 3 is what do you think you want from yourself? And that's the second key phrase here, from yourself. Okay, it's not from me. It's not what this program can give to you. This program, y'all, is nothing but a track to run on. It gives you a little bit of framework. It gives you some accountability, some consistency, some power partners, but it's a track to run on. And this program will not work for you. You've got to make it work, okay? And then last but not least, question or part number 4 to the goal setting exercise is I want you to very clearly state your area of focus. So if you have not identified it already, this is something that you want to do, is identify your area of focus for the 90-day blitz. Got it? That's it. Really simple. So you're going to do your long-term life vision. You're going to list what you think is holding you back from creating the life you love. You are going to look at what you think you want from yourself in these 90 days. And the last but not least is you're going to identify your area of focus if you haven't already done that. Okay? Please feel free to post a message in the Facebook group if you have any questions on the Facebook page. And y'all, please feel free to answer each other's questions, ask questions of each other, share your feedback, your comments, your experiences with each other, because rising waters lift all boats. And we want to be in this community, we want to be iron that sharpens iron and not cold, wet blankets putting out fire. Got it? Okay, I love you guys. This is going to be fun. Have a great week of goal setting. Remember, the goals are due by Friday. This coming Friday, August 31st. Bye for now, everybody. Love y'all.